What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today we're going to be doing a ninja deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because I've been playing this deck a lot recently because it's super fun to be able to control the board with all your amazing ninjutsu art cards and going for game with cards like Pinson and all of your other ninjas because he lets them all attack directly. Believe it. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name description in a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. This card is an amazing 3-of that has a really cool ability that when this card is normal summon, you can add a ninjutsu art card from your deck to your hand. And when this card is flipped to face up or special summon, you can add a ninja monster from your deck to your hand except another copy of this card. That is an amazing effect that's actually not a once per turn, so as many times as you can summon this card, you can get those searches, which is absolutely crazy. The only downside to this card is it is a win effect, so it can miss timing if it's not the first chain link in the chain, which is a little bit of a downside, but it's super easy to play around. We then play 3 copies of Mitsu. Mitsu is a definite 3-of in the deck because this card can actually special summon itself from your hand if you control a ninja card or a face down defensive monster, and it's also a walking negate, which is absolutely crazy, making this card a definite 3-of in the build. We then play 3 copies of Tobari. Tobari is awesome in this deck as a 3-of because this card has a really cool ability that during your opponent's main or battle phase, you can actually quick fusion summon into a ninja fusion monster using monsters that you control or in your hand, which is absolutely amazing to just let you go in for a ninja fusion monster during your opponent's turn. It also has a really cool ability. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and then special summon a ninja monster from your hand in face up or face down defense position, which is a really cool ability to instantly get one of your ninjas on your side of the field and works really well with your copy of Kagero. We then play 2 copies of Kagero. Kagero is really good as a 2-of in this build because this card has the ability, if it's normal, special, or flip face up, you can special summon a ninja monster from your hand or grave in face down defense position except another copy of this card, which works really good with your copy of Tobari because you can use Tobari's effect to be able to send it to the graveyard, special summon out Kagero, use Kagero's ability to be able to bring back the copy of Tobari, and then step into a copy of Mizan or Yaganamaru, which is super helpful for this deck to be able to do. This card also gives you targeting protection, which is really good, and I love that about this card, because when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets exactly one ninja card or exactly one face down defensive monster you control, while this card's in the graveyard, quick effect, you can special summon this card into face down defensive, and if you do, return the targeted card back to your hand, giving you a little bit of protection to be able to basically stop the target so it loses its target and it bounces that card back to your hand. We then play a single copy of Baku. You only need 1 copy of Baku. It's a little bit of a brick in the deck, but it's a great combo piece because if it's added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if it's special summoned or flip face up, you can target a ninja or a ninjutsu art card in your grave or face up in your spell and trap card zone and return it to your hand, which is a great ability to be able to grab cards back off this card's ability, and I love that about Baku, and it's such a cool card in this build. We then play a single copy of Green Ninja. I feel like 1 is totally fine in this deck. This card helps out a lot because it helps you flip cards face down, which is super helpful in this build. And also if a monster is special summoned to your field face up, except during the damage step, you can target one of them and special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, change that monster to face down defense position, which is great just to extend your plays. We then play a single copy of Yugioh. Yugioh is insane. This card is basically like a double floodgate trap hole, which is absolutely crazy because if this card is normal, special summon, or flip face up, you can target up to 2 face up monsters on the field and change them to face down defense position. And if you do, any monster that was your opponent's that was flipped by this card's effect cannot change their battle position, which is just absolutely crazy. Also has the ability that if a monster on the field is flip face up, while this monster is face up on the field, then you actually get to target a card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is great to just spot remove cards off the field. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is an amazing hand trap at just stopping your opponent from touching the deck, and it helps out a lot in this build. We then play 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is really good in the main because we have a lot of ways that we can just deal with the Nibiru token in this build, and it's a really awesome card card just to stop your opponent's plays, and it's a super powerful hand trap this format. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with a single copy of Rhoda. Rhoda's really good because we do play warriors in the deck that this card can actually search out, like our copies of Hanzo. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good in this deck, and just stopping your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion's also extremely helpful in this deck because it's kind of like a second copy of Called by the Grave, because you can summon Millenniumize Restrict from your extract off this card to give you basically a second called by, or you can summon out your copy of Yagedamaru if you want to summon Yagedamaru instead, which is really good because it helps you banish cards off the field. But this card is great in the deck as a one-of. We then play a single copy of Tenchi Kamea. Tenchi Kamea is really good in this deck because this card is always treated as a ninjutsu art card, and when a ninja monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is great with your copy of Mizan, because Mizan lets all of your ninjas attack directly, which combos great with this card because every time one of your ninjas will attack directly and does damage, you pop a card that your opponent controls, which is insane. Also, if your opponent does decide to actually deal with this card, it has the ability, if this face-up card in its owner's field spell zone has left the field because of an opponent's card effect and is now in the graveyard or banished, you can target any number of ninja monsters with different names in your grave and just special summon them and face down defense system, which is going to help you swarm the board with all sorts of different ninjas so you can step into fusion plays, which is amazing. We then play a single copy of the Ninjutsu Art Tool. This card is great as a one-of in the build. I feel like one is totally fine in this deck because this card is great because it has the ability that the equipped monster gains 500 attack and is also treated as a ninja, which is insane to be able to equip this card to your copy of Boral Sword because it'll actually let Boral Sword attack directly if you have Mizan on the field, which is just so cool. It also has a really cool ability. You can banish a ninja monster from your graveyard and target a card on the field and destroy it. And if this card is sent from the field to the grave, you can target one of your banished ninja monsters and add it to your hand or special summon it and face down defense, which can be super helpful to actually pop this card by banishing the card you want to summon back to your side of the field, which is just really good. I love that about this card, and it's super helpful in this build. We then play 3 copies of Ninjutsu Art Notebook of Mystery. This card is broken. This card is absolutely broken because it's basically a +2. That if your opponent controls any card, like any card on their side of the field, you can set a ninja monster and a Ninjutsu Art spell or trap, one from your deck and one from your grave to your side of the field, which is just absolutely insane. I love that about this card. It's such a powerful card in the deck because it helps you get to all the cards that you need while also being basically like a monster reborn, which is insane. And it also has the ability of this set card on the field is sent to the graveyard. You can target one face-up monster on the field and change it to face down defense position, which is such a good effect. We then play 3 copies of Book of Moon. Book of Moon is really good in this deck because it combos really well with your copy of Dancing Leaves because you contribute your opponent's monsters that are face down with Dancing Leaves, which is such a good effect. Also, this card is really powerful this format at just disrupting your opponent's plays, and it's a really awesome card overall in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. Prosperity is really good just to help you dig into the deck for the exact cards that you need, and it's an awesome draw spell in this build. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Ninjutsu Art of Duplication. Duplication is really good in this deck and actually works really well with your copy of Hanzo because it can actually establish you a negate, which is insane. It lets you tribute a ninja monster and then special summon any number of ninja monsters from your deck in face-up attack position or face-down defense position with a combined level that's less than or equal to the level of the ninja that you tributed. So for example, if you normal summon out your copy of Hanzo to your side of the field, you can use this card to be able to summon out 2 copies of Tobari and a copy of Mitsu, putting a copy of Tobari face down, one face up, and a copy of Mitsu face up, so you can instantly go into a fusion play during your opponent's turn, or you can use the copy of your Mitsu to flip up your copy of Tobari that's set to use it as a monster negate, which is really good. I love that combo about the deck, and it's so easy to pull off with other hand traps in your hand to just disrupt your opponent, while also getting basically a banish or a special summon of a ninja from the deck, depending on what you you go into with your effective Tobari to fusion summon during your opponent's turn. We then play 3 copies of Ninjutsu Art of Dancing Leaves. This card is crazy powerful in the deck with Book of Moon because it has the ability to activate this card by targeting a ninja monster or a face-down defensive monster on the field. So it can be on either player's field that you can use this effect, which is just so cool, and you tribute it. And if you do, you special summon any ninja you want from your deck, which is great to be able to summon out cards like Yugioh to use it as a double, basically floodgate trap hole to flip 2 of your opponent's monsters face down. And it's just such a powerful effect that this card can actually pull off multiple different effects to get the exact ninja that you want on the field. It also has the ability that when this card leaves the field, send that monster to the graveyard. And you can also target a Ninjutsu Art card that you control that's a continuous spell or trap in your spell and trap card zone and return it back to the hand. So you can use this card over and over and over again, which is just such a cool ability. We then also play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Impermanence is a really powerful hand trap right now and helps out a lot in this deck at just stopping your opponent's monster effects while also locking down entire columns of spells and traps. Plus, it's really good in this build because you already play a lot of cards you're going to set to the field. And when you normal summon out a Hanzo, search one of your ninjutsu arts, set 4 and pass, your opponent's going to have a tough time going into their plays because you have 4 cards set that you're going to react to your opponent. And that's the way the deck plays, really, is that you're basically using a bunch of cards to react to your opponent's plays like ninjas would. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with the best boss monster in the deck, and that's going to be 3 copies of Mizan. Mizan is amazing. This card is so good. It lets all of your ninja monsters attack directly, which is crazy powerful already. And also, if your opponent activates any effect at all, you get to special summon a ninja monster directly from your deck. That is crazy powerful, and it just instantly gives you a ninja on your side of the field. Plus, you don't have to use polymerization to summon this. You just have to send from your side of the field to the graveyard 2 different ninja monsters with different types, which you have plenty of different types. Your copy of Mitsu is an insect, your copy of Tobari is a winged beast, Yugioh is a rock, your copy of Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo is a warrior. You have plenty of different types. The only ones you have to watch out for is Green Ninja, Kagero, and your copy of Hanzo, because all of them are warriors, so you have to watch out for that a little bit, but it's still one of the best cards in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Yagedamaru. Yagedamaru is amazing as well. This card is spot removable because it banishes cards, which is really good, because if it's special summon or flip face up, you can actually banish one of their ninja or ninjutsu art card from your hand, grave, or face it from field, and then target a card on the field and banish it, which is really insane. We then play a single copy of Ultimate Great Insect. This card is very easy to make with your copy of Iron Tool and Mitsu, because it has the ability that you just have to tribute an insect monster that is equipped with a card, which is super easy to do, that has 2,000 or more defense, and then you just special summon this card. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and once per turn during the battle phase, if a face-up card is in a field spell zone, quick effect, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls. You don't summon this card that often, but it's pretty good when you can summon it. We then play a single copy of Millenniumize Restrict. Millenniumize is really good in this deck overall because it's just basically a walking negate you can summon off your copy of Instant Fusion. So it's basically like a second call by the grave to just stop your opponent's hand traps, which is really nice. We then play a single copy of Boral Sword. Boral Sword is one of the best link monsters in the extract because you can equip this card with Iron Tool. It becomes a ninja and it puts its headband on to be able to attack directly with Mizan. And Mizan plus this and the copy of Iron Tool on it is an OTK, which is hilarious because basically what you do is you make Boral Sword, you swing with your copy of Mizan first for 2,500, you then use Boral Sword's effect to shift it into defense position, and since it's a ninja, when it's equipped with a copy of the Iron Tool, you swing directly, and then since it switched Mizan to defense, it swings again and does damage. It goes up to basically 35 and 35 with the copy of Boral Sword because it'll get increased by 500 off the Iron Tool, 7,000, plus the Mizan is 25, so we'll do a total of 95 off of both of the attacks, which is just insane because Boral Sword can attack directly. We then play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code's really good as another option to be able to make. You can pop multiple cards on the field, which is really nice, especially since we're playing Light, Fire, Earth, and Dark in the extract, so you have basically 4 different targets you can pop with this card, which is really insane. Plus, it's very easy to summon in the deck, and you can equip Iron Tool to it as well and be able to attack directly with Mizan, which is still pretty good. We then play a single copy of Unicorn Dispel. spin stuff, 1 copy of Phoenix to pop spells and traps. These are prosperity targets. You don't summon them all that often. Access Code is also a prosperity target in the extra deck because you also don't summon it over Boral Sword all that often, but it's a good option if you need to pop cards on the field. We then played 2 copies of Saizo. Saizo lets you set a ninjutsu art, spell or trap directly from your deck, which is really good. And then finally we play a single copy of Cross Sheep. Cross Sheep is MVP in the extra deck. This card is insane because basically if you summon a fusion monster, you get to special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard to your side of the field, which helps you step into Boral Sword even easier, especially when you summon out Mizan to your side of the field, because it's so easy to step from Cross Sheep into your copy of Boral Sword because it already gives you one of the materials on your side of the field. Now, really quickly, guys, the prosperity targets are basically your link monsters. I usually get rid of a copy of each of the fusions and a copy of the ultimate great insect, and then access code, nightmare unicorn, and phoenix is what I usually banish off prosperity, just to give you guys a little bit of a reference for that. So it's these 3, 1 of each of these, and ultimate great insect to give you your total of 6 to banish off of it. But I usually want to keep at least 2 copies of each of your fusions in the extract to be able to go in for game. And the best link monsters in the extract are actually Boral Sword and Cross Sheep because that's how you get your OTK, and it's really amazing. This and this with Iron Tool is basically just game. So that's it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. I love playing this deck. It's so fun. Hopefully we get future support for ninjas. I'm sure we will, but it's such a fun deck to be able to play, especially with all the support we got out of Darkwing Blast, because it's just such a fun deck now. I've always loved Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo, and it's just such a cool deck to be able to just control the board and go in for games. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.